welcome to episode 5 of So Crafty with Ashley and Lisa. I'm Ashley.
I'm Lisa.
And we are, it is what, Thursday the 21st.
Next Thursday will be Thanksgiving for us here in the U.S.
Yes.
Snowing.
It is.
We're getting our first little touch of winter. Yesterday was 60 some degrees and now it's snowing. So I don't think it'll stick, but it's snowing here.
Yeah.
And they're calling for a few inches, but like I was saying, it's not going to stick.
No.
So, all right, what are you wearing?
I am wearing, so this is the Big Island by Cheryl Toy. I was actually just looking at it before we started. And when she made it, it was in a cotton yarn. And mine is definitely a lot smaller than the picture. But it kind of has just this nice, like,
Eyelet border.
It has an eyelet border. It has just some texture to it. And then in here are kind of like a fake brioche. And then it kind of goes back to that texture. Another row of that fake brioche. And then this kind of lacy pattern there with a little peaked edges.
Pretty.
So this I did Sprightly yarns. I actually got it from Craftsy, and it was supposed to be like a plaid poncho, and then I looked at the pattern and it had like crochet chains in it, like going over it, and I was like, I'm just not into it right now after it. So I believe this red is the flame, this is suede, and this is charcoal heather. So it's nice.
And I am wearing, it's an Andrea Mowry pattern. I'm going to stand up a little bit. It is called Stripes. I bought this yarn. It's not from the shop. I bought this yarn on the Yarn Crawl probably 3 years ago. It's a James Brett, his tweed yarn. And I want to say we were in Oakmont. There's a yarn shop in Oakmont, and I can't remember the name of it, but you can Google yarn shop in Oakmont. They had a beautiful sample. Colors were similar, not identical. And I just loved it. So I bought the yarn and I knitted it, and it's cozy. It's, pretty oversized, which is honestly how I like my sweaters.
Yeah.
I don't like negative ease. That's not how I wear my clothes. I like things kind of boxy, and so yeah, I'm real happy with it. I've worn it a ton, and the yarn is holding up. It is not pilling. It was a really fun knit because it's like, oh, one more stripe, one more stripe, one more stripe. It was kind of, I would knit this again. I would knit this sweater again, for sure. Yeah. Okay, we're going to go into our finished objects or FO section. I have a ton, so do you want me to go first?
Yeah.
Okay. So my first finished object it's almost finished, but these, at this time of year, I take orders. So this is an Azel for a customer. It is like a poncho, oversized poncho with a, collar, like a cowl neck. I need to put buttons on it and weave in a couple ends. This one was made out of Cascade Mercado. Just a really oversized poncho. The picture, this pattern has been around for ages and ages. It's the beautiful little girl standing on a seashore. The pattern, it is a paid pattern by Heidi May, Velvet Acorn Designs, but it goes from baby up to extra large. And extra large is oversized, so it's pretty size inclusive. So all I need to do to finish it is put some wooden buttons on the side. Now, I did make one adaptation. I've made this, I don't know, this might be my 5th or 6th one. In the pattern, it calls for buttonholes down here. I don't do the buttonholes. And I'll tell you why. Because when you sit, they unbutton. Just the nature of it and like how it hits your hips, they unbutton. So I do not do buttons. I just put it together and sew it through. So the buttons are faux, basically. But it anchors it on the side. So it'll probably get like 3 buttons down towards the bottom so that it is, you can sit in it and it's not binding. So.
Now what size is that?
This is it's large/extra large. Okay. And it's knit on like size 13 needles.
So
I do it.
Pretty quick.
It is. I do it all on circular needles. This one is blocked. So, you know, it blocks out a little bit bigger. I actually, like, when I blocked it, I was kind of smushing it because I didn't want it to grow too much. But I mean, it definitely could have grown quite a bit. So when I blocked it, I kind of smushed it up. So that's my first FO. You want to go with an
Yeah.
FO?
So this, and it's been on a couple episodes now, this is my, kind of cover it on his face. This is my Pacific Knit Co. travel doodle. So we talked about the knit or Pacific, the doodles a lot now. So basically they're kind of decks of cards or different patterns that have different kind of mosaics or different images on them. You can kind of mix and match to make whatever. They have socks, they do hats, they do cows, they do a whole bunch of things. I just test knit this for the travel doodle. So I have little roads and bikes in 2 different colors, and then just kind of a little on the top. I'm hoping it's gonna block out. This is for a gift, and I had my husband try it on, and it was a little bit short. I mean, I think I would do okay with it, but it just needs maybe like another like ½ inch or so.
So what are you thinking of doing?
So I really don't want to take out the top. I really don't want to do it that way. So I'm considering adding to the ribbing because it is only maybe 1.5 inches of ribbing. So I may add, but I don't know that I have it this color. So I thought about either doing, there's like a gray that I use for the wheels maybe to add that. It would be a similar kind of weight. I did hold this orange double. It was more of a fingering and I held it double. I also thought about maybe doing this kind of main color. I do think if I would ever do this again, I followed the top pattern and I don't like how it goes. It had, originally you were at 24 stitches in a section and then you cut that into 12 stitch sections and then you decreased once in each of those. And I just don't like how the top, it's kind of all crumpled.
So devil's advocate here, you don't like the decrease. So why don't you unravel do your decrease every other row?
So
you'll like it better.
What I think I would do is I would do like a Musselburgh decrease and go back to the 24 and do like before and after the stitch.
So yeah, so you don't like it anyhow.
Yes.
So I guess my advice is don't try to pick up the bottom and
Just
match.
to do that, yeah.
I know it's not what you want to do, but
no. But
I think you'll be happier overall.
I think so too. And I think it is a little short. I even did a little extra of what they said to recommend. And I did go with the non-slouchy kind of length, but there's kind of my floats inside. And I'm probably going to be lazy and I'm just going to tie these because most of them I knit over while I was doing them. So I'm just probably going to tie them off and cut them off because I'm not going to go back.
And it's a hat.
It's a hat. So yeah, no one's going to see it anyway.
Yeah. Okay. So
you're up.
Okay, my next finished object, kind of. So we are doing Christmas in Curwensville. It's going to be the second weekend of December. Lots of stuff going on through town. My part of it is going to be a Kris Kringle market in the parking lot on the 14th from 10 to 3. Vendors are coming, food trucks are coming. And then on Saturday, there's going to be live reindeer at the park. The Strawberry Tree's hosting. They sold tickets. I believe the tickets are completely sold out. They've sold over 1,000 tickets.
Oh my goodness.
So I am going to set up a booth and sell hats and scarves and, ornaments. I have some reindeer ornaments. I have some stuffed animal ornaments that are coming. So I thought, I'll do some really cute hats. Well, back to the doodle book that Ashley was talking about. I thought I'll just crank a hat. I have an Addi knitting machine. It's this guy. And you kind of like wind the yarn on and then you just crank. And then what you end up doing is making a huge tube and you cinch the end. I just use the yarn, leave a tail, cinch both ends, and then you shove them inside each other. So I thought, I'll go to the doodle. I have a couple doodle decks and then I have the book. And I thought I will just duplicate stitch. I had grand plans of knitting all these cute headbands and hats. Well, time is drawing to a close here. So I duplicate stitched this poor little guy.
Oh, it's cute.
It's okay. It's not great. It looks better than it really is. I've ripped it out like 3 times and redone it, doubled my yarn. It's not great. So I have a girlfriend that has a laser cutting machine and she does like leather tags. So she is going to engrave reindeer on the leather tags, and then I'm gonna rip this out and I'm just gonna iron tags on.
Okay.
So it'll be like a faux, like a patch, like
Yeah.
a leather patch that gets put on, you know, a plain hat. So I got a lot of hats cranked yesterday. So I have 1, 2. I thought this was cute, kind of a Christmas.
Yeah. Now, do you always make them tubes like that?
Mhm.
Okay, I didn't know if you always did them like
It's the easiest, because otherwise you'd have to pick up stitches and like,
Okay.
for the purpose of what I'm doing now, yes, I have. And then I just kind of went around. I have all these like balls that have lost their wrapper, or so I was like, I'm going to just like kind of crank up, and they honestly fit pretty well. Like, I mean, I know this one's kind of slouchy,
Mm-hmm.
but you can just brim it more. But you know, they fit me. I think they would fit, you know, a teen. Oh, there goes my hair. That's okay. So yeah, I just went around. This one is shorter. It fits my grandson, my 5-year-old grandson. It fits him real well.
You can
Yeah.
maybe do that, like not like brimless and like kind of more of the beanie look. So.
Yep. Another one that I had a partial skein. Too pretty to like throw away, but you know, I have this basket and I was like, all right, I am just gonna crank and crank and crank. So I got all of these hats done yesterday. And like I said, some of them will be getting the leather tags. I have a few craft shows coming up, so some of these may go there, but you know, I thought brown, red, white. Yeah. So these were all done on my Addy knitting machine. I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 hats done yesterday. In, you know, the matter of probably 4 or 5 hours. So, and it would have taken me weeks
Oh, definitely.
to knit those. I know it's cheating. I get that. I understand, but
But hey,
time is of the essence at this point. So
yes.
I have a few more white skeins that I want to crank, and I should be, it's going to be, it is what it is. So do you have another finished object?
I have a hoe.
Okay, go ahead.
So I have, this is my tube sock, or my tube that Lisa is kind of in here, so they weren't poking me. Cranked. So then I basically knit a cuff,
Cute.
then added a heel and added a toe. These are going to be Christmas gifts. So I think I have everything weaved in except the corners. I got to kind of finagle them a little bit on the heel just to kind of close the loop or close the little holes a little bit. But I put them on. I've been using my, I think we talked about these before too, but these are super nice Toy Sheared Sheep, and Lisa carries them here. They are sock rollers. So they have a regular ruler on one side, and then these, if you can see there, have the kids, men, and women sizes.
And it's shoe sizes.
It's, yeah.
So you don't have to measure someone's foot. You could just ask them what's your shoe size.
Yes. So these are gifts. So I ask, you know, what size is so-and-so's foot, and then whenever I did it, I did the heel first, and then I just kind of lined it up on the outside. You can also do it on the inside if you're, but the tube, it was a little kind of convoluted.
Well, and it's nice with striped socks, so you can like end at a stripe.
Yes.
Like,
so that's what I did, and then this was the first time I had done this, like,
heel that's like a toe.
yes, like the afterthought heel. This was the first time I did that. So I wasn't sure how long it was going to be, and it is, usually they say they're about 2 inches. It's pretty close to 2 inches.
And on mine, I don't know if it's my instep. They say like if you have a deep, like, you know, instep or whatever, I knit 5 rounds plain.
Yes.
Before I start decreasing. That's what works for me.
I just saw someone said that, and then just my regular toe, which is basically the same thing. I think I did do a few less stitches. Like I got down to less stitches on the toe whenever I did it before I Kitchenered off. Then I did my heel because it looks a little pointier. But yeah, so it really didn't take me that long. The hardest part was when I got the tube, I had to figure out which end to use, and I was looking.
And it doesn't really matter.
Yeah.
At some point, like your stitches are basically going to be upside down.
Yeah.
But who's gonna be close enough to your foot or know? Oh gosh, those V's are upside down.
Yeah. So, and I just, the end that I picked up, what ended up being, I believe, the correct end, and it came undone easiest. Also, this one, like, dropped a stitch down a couple, and I'm like, I'm not fighting with that, so I went to the other end. And then once I got to the toe, I basically just stopped, like, at the white. And then the next color was green, so I just stopped between those and snipped and then raveled back. When I did that, I fed through the needle that I was going to use for the sock plus this extra needle, so that now all my stitches are all ready to go. I probably won't use this because I just don't love these needles, but it was the right size and worked. So
Right.
now on to knitting the second one, and my goal is to get at least 2 pairs out of this, which I should.
And while we're on sock tubes, let's talk about Socks for Sam.
Yes.
So there is a young boy who has a disease called white matter disease, I believe. Vanishing.
Yep.
Vanishing white matter disease, and it's a terminal disease. You can go on Instagram. I encourage you, go on Instagram, look up hashtag Socks for Sam. So they are doing I think it's a fundraiser of sorts, but it's more about awareness for this disease. Sam loves to wear mismatched socks. He's in a wheelchair. He is,
I believe he's 8th grade, I saw.
Yeah, his teachers are doing this for him. They kind of, his fun thing in life is he loves to have mismatched socks.
And I guess I was looking at it a little bit today because I was watching Needles at the Ready is where we both heard about this. And they were talking a little bit more about it. They were actually going to meet him. I believe he lives somewhere up in like the
New England states.
New England, yeah. And so I guess they've been meeting people. They've been collecting single socks. But also if you are on Instagram, you can use the hashtag Socks for Sam, and just to kind of raise awareness. But December, I guess now through January, they're collecting single socks. And Lisa has graciously said that she would collect single socks here, or even pairs. Maybe you did a pair and you don't wear them anymore, or you don't like them, whatever, we can send them off to them. And then they're going to be donations for a fundraiser in like the February-March timeframe.
So yeah, if you want to drop off either single socks, like if you have a pair you started, they're laying in a progress bag, you're never going to finish them, bring me the one finished sock, and then I'll gather, and then I'll mail them to this Socks for Sam. What it is, it's his teachers, and they must be knitters.
So I think it was, I don't know if they were knitters. I think originally it sounded like they had already started this several years ago, and he kind of started it on his own, but now, knitters love socks, or crocheters love socks. So it was kind of like, oh, let's start this with this big community that, would make socks for him.
Right. So yeah, drop them off now till probably end of January, and then I will mail them all off for us. The reason I said Ashley is probably going to have a leftover portion of that tube. It's hard to use and measure and get the whole thing done. So you could make a pair of shorties. You could make, take that last section of tube and turn it into one sock, because you're going to have leftover contrast color. We always do. So yeah, so I'll be finishing some tubes that I have pieces left and sending those up to the Socks for Sam organization.
And even really, like, if you wanted to do like scrappy socks, if you only
Sure.
have a little bit, make some scrappy socks and send off, because like kind of the wilder the better is what I've seen.
Yeah, get on and look at his picture. He looks like a, kind of a charismatic little guy.
Yeah.
And but it's a terminal disease, and they're just trying to raise awareness and probably get some funding for research to possibly help this disease. So, okay, moving on.
Yes.
I have 2 more finished objects that I would like to share. I have shared these before. This is my woven. It is a pattern by Casapinka, and the yarn I used was Wool Addicts, but I wanted to show it blocked. Blocking matters. So it was kind of curling, and it was kind of, you couldn't really see the woven stitches. And what it is, it's a slip stitch. It's a paid for pattern, so I don't want to give too much away, but it's an easy repeat. It's a TV knitting.
It almost reminds me of like a linen, like crochet linen stitch.
Right. Yeah, I think it's supposed to be kind of like a linen stitch. So I blocked this, and it's bigger now. I feel like it's flatter, like it's really wearable now.
Yeah.
And one of my customers saw mine, and she picked a different colorway. So this is my friend Colleen's woven, and it's just beautiful. Beautiful colors. I'm sure she'll gift it. This woman gives away everything she makes, literally the shirt off her, the sweater off her back, she'll give you. So I'm sure this is a gift knit, but it just turned out beautifully.
Mhm.
The colors are beautiful. It's rainbowy, but doesn't scream rainbow.
Yeah.
Really nice colors. And this is the yarn I used. It's woven 6-ply Wool Addicts. And it kind of is a, you know, a fading color.
Mhm.
So yeah, really nice yarn. Kind of, they call this fingering, but it's really,
I would say
it's really smushy
yeah.
for a fingering. I think if you would make socks, like they would end up being almost like DK or like slipper, more like slipper socks.
Yeah. I like and I was just thinking, because the last 2 shawls I've worn, I'm like, I am really not loving the asymmetric, but that is long enough. And I think that's some of my problem is I start and I'm like, okay, I'm done with this. I want it to be done. And then I'll like end sooner than I should.
I'm going to model this for a little bit. How I normally wear my shawls is not your traditional, you know, point in the back. I generally put my point to the front and then kind of bring my ends around and either tuck them or bring them through and kind of like, you know, I'm not going to mess with it now, but that's how I like to wear my shawls, is more up around. I'm always cold.
Yeah.
And I don't mind things around my neck. I actually like things around my neck. So that's how I would probably wear it.
That's how I was kind of having issues with this, because like I feel like the orange should be in the front because you want to see that, you know, netting detail, but it was just kind of like it falls off then.
Yeah.
So
yeah, if I do think if you made them a bit longer, and blocking helps, you know, it's going to help it grow a little bit. Yeah, so I thought those both turned out really, really nicely. This will go to Colleen tomorrow at Sit and Stitch if we don't get too much snow. Because if we get too much snow, she'll stay home, which I don't blame her.
Yeah.
I have one more finished object, and it is my grandson's Musselburgh. I've talked about this before. I made my granddaughter one in pinks. This yarn is Freckled Whimsy DK. It's a self-striping, and it comes with a mini, the set I bought. So what I did, knitted so many inches, did almost my complete mini, and then finished off with the self-striping. And this fits him really nicely. It's going to come down over his ears. So I think it's a Christmas gift unless he snags it sooner. And then I guess that takes us into our whips.
Yep. So this one has not gotten much love. It's my flax sweater for my son. It was originally going to be a birthday present, but his birthday is Tuesday, so probably not happening.
Maybe we'll get a big, huge snowstorm and you can just knit all weekend.
Yes. So I have one sleeve. I think last time I wasn't adding red in, so I just started to add the red in. I'm going to fade that
I like
down.
how you did that. So did some stripes.
Yeah.
Did some stripes, you know, and then kind of faded into the complete red. I like that.
Yes. So that, and then I'm going to do the same, obviously, to the other sleeve and then to the body as well.
And I'm going to steal your sleeve again and just kind of show you. So you're using stitch markers to keep count of your rows.
Yes. So I believe these equal an inch, if I remember correctly, because I needed so many inches. And then the pink one is where I started measuring for the decreases. And then it's a seven row pattern of a decrease and then 6 and then a decrease. So that's how I was counting them.
Perfect.
And it's nice because then I can easily see, and then what I've done, you can see it on this one. I figured how many I need, and then I just add them here. And then when I'm done with these, I know I'm done.
Oh, I see. You put them on there.
On this one,
Cool.
and then I just take them off.
Smart.
So
real smart.
I really love these light bulb stitch markers. They're cheap. I have a case of probably 1,000 of them now.
And I never can find one.
Yeah, so I just keep buying more.
Yeah, same. So my next whip is going to be Briggs hat. This is the same. It's the Freckled Whimsy. I have no idea if these are available. I bought these during COVID. You know, we were all stuck at home, and lots of like indie dyers were having specials and, you know, really doing promotions to try to stay in business. So I bought a subscription. So every month I would get a different skein of self-striping. I don't know why I picked DK. Who knows what I was thinking, but it's working out for the kiddos' hats. This one's called Into the Jungle. This is what his main color, and then this will be his mini. And then they'll match the other kids. They will all have, this is my granddaughters, this is my oldest grandsons, and then this will be the babies. So they'll match, but not be matchy-matchy. And I'm using up stash.
Yeah.
I'm thinking, so last year I put on Facebook, I have a contest going. How many things can Lisa knit in a year? So people had to, like before January 1st, they had to guess.
Yeah, I'm way under on that guess.
Are you way under?
Yes.
I think I'm up to 65, 66. And I haven't included some recent things I've done. So I'm going to be around 70 some by the time I'm done, which isn't bad. You know, you figure 52 weeks in
Yeah.
so I'm doing more than one. And some of them were sweaters. Like it wasn't all tiny, and it doesn't include any quilts I do. It was yarn only.
Are you counting your hats that you cranking?
I don't think so. I
Okay.
think that's cheating. I don't think so. No.
Yeah.
Mm-mm.
At least the tube socks, you do have to. I mean, there's.
I was counting socks because you have to knit the heel, the toe, the cuff, but cranking, there's no knitting on those.
Mm-hmm.
So no, I won't count those. But I'm thinking for next year, a fun little contest, and we can all do it. So I'm thinking of running a contest that'll be a year long. How many yards of yarn do you knit?
Oh, geez.
So like if I'm just going to say, for instance, this DK yarn that I just spoke of is 245 yards, and I use most of it. So I would use probably 200 yards of yarn in a Musselburgh hat for the baby. So I would just, in my notebook, keep a notebook and write down 200 yards.
Mm-hmm.
I just think it would be
That would be fun.
interesting to see how many yards of yarn travel through your hands in a year.
Yeah. And I mean, even if you don't, you could always do like the scale and weigh it too.
Sure.
If you don't,
Yeah, so like 100 grams. So this is probably 100 grams. I don't know that for sure. I'm misspeaking. It is. So I could weigh it, and let's say I had half left. Well, what's half of 245? Then I would write that down on in my tablet that I used, whatever's half of 245.
Yeah.
So, so I think that's going to be the contest for next year, and it'll run from like January 1st to December 31st. And then everybody will have to submit how many yards they used. And then I'll draw like a gift certificate winner or something.
Nice.
And we have the list. Like I can go back through my Facebook and see who's the closest guess. And then they're going to win a gift card to the shop in January. So yeah, that's what I'm thinking.
I think that'll be fun.
Do you have any other whips?
I have one more.
Okay, then I have one more.
Because we're going to run a little close on time today.
I'm sorry.
Oh, it's okay.
We'll hurry up.
So these are my what I call Disney socks. I started them before I went to Disney, and the color just reminded me of Ariel. I talked about them last week, but I had forgot them since I saw them last. I added the Fish Lips Kiss heel, and I just measured the one. I'm about 2 inches, I think, before I need to start working on the toes. But
you're gonna go back to the purple for the toes?
yes, I'm gonna do the purple for the toes. I wasn't sure how. I didn't want to adding a color and trying the Fish Lips Kiss for the first time.
How'd you like it?
I didn't mind it at first. Once it's scary. The pattern is like 20 pages long. But then once I got the hang of it, it actually wasn't.
And I'm not gonna
that
like the pattern's great. It's a paid for pattern, I believe.
yeah, it's like $3 or something.
Yeah, it's not much, but there's a lot of narrative.
Yes.
So like there's a lot of words, and it looks like it's real scary.
Yes.
But if you actually broke down, she does a lot of explaining, but the actual work that you need to do isn't bad.
Yeah. They also, the other thing they do is she tells you like how to get a good fit with it. I kind of skipped that step and I knew how far down I wanted to go, and it's a plain vanilla sock, so I wasn't too concerned. But she does give you an idea of like drawing basically a thing with your foot, and then anyone you were making for, if you do that, there's different lines that kind of coincide with different parts of your foot and your sock to where to put them. But yeah, so these are mine. There.
Oh, you're doing 2 at a time, basically.
Yep, I'm doing 2 at a time on 9-inch circulars. That way, because I took them to Disney with me, so it was nice. Like I could, work on one, and then when I if I
Had
was
a thinking
oh,
part.
Yeah, if I
Yeah.
had to go, then just work on the other one.
Yep.
And then I just randomly pick whatever one and go from there.
There you go. Okay, my last work in progress is another easel. This is an order. This one's gonna be gorgeous.
Ooh.
Yeah, it is like this charcoal black, super, super soft. I'm really enjoying knitting this one. I know it looks kind of see-through, but I feel like the fuzz is gonna fill in.
Yeah.
This yarn is,
And it's not something that you would wear by itself anyway.
right,
So.
yeah, you have to wear a shirt under it because it's, completely open. This is Juniper Moon.
I love
It
it.
is, I do too, Stargazer brushed. It is extra fine baby llama. So it is 85% baby llama, 15% nylon. I don't know, I haven't knit with llama a ton, but alpaca tends to grow a little bit, so the nylon's going to help it keep its shape. So yeah, there's 284 yards to a skein. The last easel I showed, I think I said I used 4 skeins. This one I'll probably only use 3. So yeah, but this is my second easel. So I hope to finish it by the weekend. Last weekend my husband was sick, so I had an awful lot of knitting time while he slept. So, all right. Those are my whips.
Yeah.
One other thing we wanted to talk about is we're going to do a contest, Christmas cast on. So it's kind of a thing. People like to have something that they kind of save for themselves. Selfish knitting, once all your gift knitting's done. So, on Christmas Eve, Christmas Day, whenever you get a chance to sit down, I like to cast on something that I've kind of been, wanting to make.
Yeah.
So we're not going to tell you what you need to knit. You just knit something that's for you, selfish.
Yeah,
knitting.
something that's going to make you happy. And we're going to call it the So Selfish Cal. Now, it doesn't necessarily have to be a knitting. It could be crochet. It could be anything,
Cross stitch.
anything like that. I just like the Cal because we're going to use the hashtag SSK on Instagram. So it's going to be SSK 2025. We're going to run this through March 31st. And then after that, we will pick, I think we're going to do 2 winners. We're going to have a finished object one, which will be a Google Drive, which we can show and talk more about at a later episode. And then just the Instagram hashtag, we'll use that as well.
So in order to enter and be part of the Cal, you'll have to go on Instagram. You can post a picture of your work in progress or even just your plans. Show us your yarn. Show us what you're thinking of making. As long as you've started it and used the hashtag, you'll be entered to win.
Yep. And then the more you use it, the more times, because I'll just search SSK 2025 and we'll use a random number generator and that's how we'll pick it.
Yeah. And then the Google Doc, Ashley's in charge of that because I don't understand. But she's going to explain it to us more in future podcasts, how to do the Google Doc.
Yeah, and they're super simple. You just need basically an email to enter, and then we'll just get basic information so we can contact you, and you'll just post a finished object there if you whatever.
And I also want to say, we will reach out to you if you ever get. I know there's tons of spammers out there. I've gotten them from different companies saying,
oh,
you've won, and
yeah,
we will mention it on here first.
Mm-hmm.
And then we would contact you personally. It would either be Ashley or myself. So, it wouldn't come from So Crafty. It would come from either Lisa or Ashley.
Yeah.
So I don't want spammers to think, because they key in on words. So if we say giveaway or if we say contest, they like those words and then they kind of pick up those words and run with it.
Yeah.
And try to get your money.
Yes.
So don't fall for it, please.
Yes.
I know we're going quick, but I just wanted to show you, I have I changed the backdrop today. Usually it's my hand dyed. These are all finished objects. Many of these are patterns that are designed by my friend Jenna Knight. They are on Ravelry. Many of them are free, some are paid. But if you ever need inspiration, come here. I have lots and lots of shop samples, things hanging around the shop. But yeah, a lot of these are her own designs. She has patterns here for sale, all printed in a sleeve, and then I can help you pick out yarn. So, well, happy Thanksgiving, everyone.
Yes, happy Thanksgiving.
Ashley's got to go get her little boy.
I do.
Okay.
Yes.
We're going to bolt out the door.
Yes.
All right. Thanks for stopping by. Like and share if you like our podcast.
Yes, like and share, and once we hit 100 subscribers, we will
Do a giveaway.
Do a giveaway. So share it so more people like us.
Okay.
All right,
Thanks, guys. Bye.
Bye.